My name is Shonda Wilson. Although they always ask me, are you public safety or are you police? Because I don't necessarily dress like it all the time, but I am. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I was the Illinois State Police Officer in Chicago for 16 years. And the chief that I worked with out there he was out there for 19 years. He is now the deputy chief or the assistant chief for Baylor University. And so one day when I was off on vacation, he called me and said, hey, I left Illinois. I'm not up north at Northern anymore. And I was like, yeah, I heard, good for you. He's like, how would you like to come to Baylor? So when he says that, I also am an instructor of many things in policing. So I teach racial intelligence in the police department. So the best way I describe it is in the event that you see if you see news footage with police involved, and it's really, really bad enough to make the news, then I'm normally the person that they call in Illinois to train those officers to say, why did we do this? How did we do this? How can we make sure that this doesn't happen again, right? So that was my job. So when someone said, hey, do you want to come out for some training? I'm thinking that's what they want me to train on. And that's what I thought. He's like, no. I mean, do you want to work here at Baylor? Baylor, that thing you do out there, do it here. I'm like, no. I'm not moving to Texas. A set of triplets. My grandsons are triplets. They're 3. They're adorable. We're not moving out here to Texas. So I've been living here in Texas for 7 months now. Wow. It's my first summer. I'm very new to Baylor, but not new to policing, not new to the university setting. And like I said, the one thing that I'm very, very good at is police and community relations, right? And so Baylor decided that they wanted their police to have a very intimate relationship with their police department. Because I work under the understanding that if you have that, you have less and less problems from both the students and the police. So when I would pull up in Illinois and I would stop a car, there's 5 people in the car, everybody goes, hey, Mama B, how's it going? They know me, I know everybody in the car. And the way that we get that is if you meet me, if you meet the police, if you meet your police, you know them by name before a 911 incident come about. And at a university setting, you have a very good opportunity to allow that to happen, where in most municipalities and different things like that, you don't necessarily have that happen. So the police can walk around in your residence hall, walk around in your dorms. We're at the party. I've also, you look me up on YouTube, I don't know when they did it, or Instagram, there's pictures of me dancing. And most of the Baylor events, I can't help it. I try not to. I don't see the cameras coming out, and they always post it because I really, really enjoy what I do. And I like enjoying what I do with the students. So that's why I was asked to come here. That's why I'm here. This quote is from our old chief, our prior chief, and I saw this in one of his pamphlets and on a lot of the things that he spoke on. And I thought this really depicts what we do here at Baylor. And this is one of our deepest concerns, is that each of our students is successful in all of their endeavors at Baylor, and that they become all that God intends for them to be. The Baylor Police Department's role is that we're going to provide a safe, secure environment so that you can strive and grow and be successful in everything that you're doing here, right?
Cops.
So they tend to come by because I tend to walk around unpoliced. No gun, no, and they're like, oh my God, somebody find a Chicago girl, she doesn't have a gun. So they tend to walk with me. So that's Lieutenant Perkins. He's been here for 19 and a half years. He is the God of the campus, meaning he knows everything, everybody, the whole 9 yards.
Shh, everybody hide.
So we'll tell you about the police department. We are Texas certified police officers. I hold 2 licenses, one in Illinois, one here in Texas. So we are Texas certified police officers. We have a full-fledged police department here, dispatch center, security, emergency management, response team, you name it, we have it here. We operate 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 24/7. So there's never a time where, oh man, I want to call the police, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I have heard students say that before. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. The police are they still there? Yes, we are still here for emergencies all night. Our jurisdiction is countywide. So although our main patrol area is Baylor, there's a lot of little Baylor hubs I found out all over Texas. So we do patrol those as well. We have a lot of our students that live in residence in different places that are not Baylor owned, but if they're there, we're there too. So our jurisdiction is countywide. We do co-police, and it says here with Waco Police. However, being here, I've seen Waco Police, I've seen ISD, I've seen state police, I've seen so many different police departments working together here at Baylor. It's been unbelievable. The sheriff department, constables, we don't have constables in Illinois. It took me a very long time to find out what that was. But I've seen them work here, which was a really good thing and foreign to me coming from Illinois, because we're large enough, we're all of that, whereas here is so many different departments, and I think that makes for a good working combination. Like I said, the primary patrol is Baylor. However, we tend to go off campus often. We have a crime prevention unit, our detectives. We have a criminal investigation unit, crime prevention unit, that would be me, and bike patrols. Some of the things that we have, some of the services that we have is the BU Campus Guardian phone app. I don't know if you guys have seen that or heard of it. They're definitely on some of the pamphlets that I've offered you, but this is something that you should definitely download. We do have, they give you emergency alerts, and Lieutenant, if you can jump in if I don't cover anything. But we do have emergency alerts in the event that something is happening on or around campus. You will be alerted. Crime prevention courses and presentations, again, that is me. Brought here specifically for that. And our officers also do the same thing. Meaning, if you belong to a sorority, your floor, you live in, say, Collins Hall, and it's an all women's residence hall. You want someone to come out and talk to you about safety, we have someone to come out and do that.
Quick question,
Yes.
on the emergency alerts, are those text-based? Is it, okay.
Is all of it text-based?
No, it's
there-
also has what if it's an emergency, man with gun, something like that. It also has people that you can register, and send out call outs as well.
Okay.
And that's on a later slide. Video surveillance everywhere. I thought, like, somebody asked, well, how many video cameras do you have? Initially, I was like, that's a good question. Further in the presentation, you'll see there's 1,600. Exterior, I mean, we watch a lot of things. Now, there isn't 1,600 cameras inside the residence hall where we can see everything that you're doing. No. We're talking elevators, we're talking call safety boxes, we're talking cameras on the exterior of the buildings, inside the elevators, inside the garages, different places like that. Safe place. This one was good for me. If you like to sell or buy things online, you can come to our police department and you can make that exchange at the police department. We do not want our students going off campus, going somewhere, meeting someone at their house, at their home, you don't know, and exchanging anything, You can come to our police department, you can exchange whatever you need to exchange right at the police department, in front of cameras, in front of our dispatch, so that you'll be safe. We do have a national prescription drug take back. Old prescriptions, just bring it to the police department. There's a box there where you can drop that in, and we do have actual security personnel inside the dorms. They start from 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning.
7.
7 in the morning? Okay, so until 7 in the morning, and they roam around the dorms to dorm to make sure that everybody's safe. We do partner and work with parking services and transportation. If you get a ticket on your car, you will automatically assume, oh my goodness, the police did it. Not all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes it is parking services that will issue you tickets, so definitely be mindful of where you're parking. The technical security, like I said, 1,600 cameras, and I'm sure that's old. There's probably more. 152 emergency call boxes. And I always like to explain that the call boxes, 152 emergency phones inside the buildings. We're talking elevators, stairwells, panic buttons, different things like that, things that will immediately call the police. And we have 81 emergency call boxes. Now these call boxes, I will say, I stayed here, I told you I'm only here 7 months, but for the first 3 months, I stayed here on campus. And as I would walk this campus, it's really not a big campus in hindsight, but as I walk this campus, sometimes I go too far. It'll be 2 o'clock in the morning, I go too far. What the heck am I? Where am I? I don't know how to get back home. But I see this yellow box, and I gravitate to the box. And if I push the box and say, hey, where am I? You'll get a live person, they'll say, hey, this is where you are. Do you need a police officer? Those are your 911s without your phone. So if there's an emergency and you know where you are, you can hit those buttons. I would advise everybody, and I do all the time, if you're in a building, say you're an engineer, you're in an engineer building, you're in a science building, and that is the building that you will have most of your classes, find out where your emergency exits are, find out where your emergency call box is. Find out where the closest one is before you start class. While there's nothing going on, find out where your emergency exits and your emergency call box are. And we also have global safety. And we just added this in there. We've always had it. I just thought this was very interesting. So we have students that come here and they travel all over the world, either for their major or missionary trips, health trips, you name it, they'll travel. There are students, they go home internationally, nationally, and we are able to follow them literally in real time in the air to see where they're going and keep in contact with our students. And not only that, who are the police, contact the police as to where they're going, so we're able to follow our students, make sure that they're safe even when they're not here in the United States, and I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. So does that coincide with studying abroad?
Yes. Yes. Actually, that's what I found, studying abroad area. So our community, 49% of our students live here on campus. And when you think on campus, you think, okay, I see it, that's where it is. Sometimes our campus is beyond where you can see, and we have students that live there too. Students from all 50 states, from over 80 different countries. We have 2,500 faculty and staff members, and we have guests, visitors here from other schools, whether it be camps, people coming here for football games that's here all the time. Hence, ISP, state police, Baylor police, Waco police, working together because we tend to have large crowds here on campus, especially during football, basketball games, and different things like that. Now, I thought this was important to showcase who our officers are, right? Because for me, I have several children, 5 children, 4 master's degrees. 1 kid will never come out of college. I don't understand why. I don't know why they won't graduate or pick a major or anything. They just love college. So I am a parent that understands that you are entrusting us with the most important person that you have, right? I was that parent that dropped my kid off, not the one that keeps going to college, but I drop them off, I'm crying, I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody says that they're adults, they're really not adults. Well, they understand my kid will make mistakes, and we do. And so I want to showcase the police and who they are here. So we have police that are vets, military vets. I am Navy all the time. When the other guy's here, he's Army or whatever. But when he's not, I say it proud, I am Navy. We have officers that work for the correctional facilities, officers that work as court officers, Secret Service officers, school resource officers, ministers, pastors. That's important for this Christian university, that we have people that are compassionate. We also have Christmas. Though he's a supervisor, Christians get a little, irritated. I'm still a Christian. We have moms, we have fathers. I know Lieutenant Perkins is a father, Lieutenant Perkins is a grandfather, it's a grandparent. I am a grandparent, and that was very important for me, right? So for when I drop my children off at school, it's nice to have that very young officer there. He's ready to go. He's 21 years old. He forgot that he was just in college yesterday, and then he wants to hammer everybody for everything. Nobody wants that. I've worked with it. Nobody wants it. But I do want the grandparent that might understand that my kid might make a mistake and might use that as a teachable moment. I do want the mom that says, hey, this is a bad situation, you might want to call your mom. And they might say, well, I don't have to because I'm 18, and then you might want to call your mom. That's the mom, parents, that's the father, that's the uncles, that's the aunt. And it's important for us to showcase that, because this was the most important thing for me when I was dropping my kid off at college. Please take a picture of this. These are some of our emergency contact. Register at Baylor. I get the two mixed up, Lieutenant. Is this the one that sends out the actual voice?
The rest of the web personal information.
Okay. For any emergency alerts and different things like that. There's one of them that you can sign up several people to, like if mom wanted it, if the student wanted it. Is this the particular one?
Yes, you can still go through that one and do the same thing.
Okay. So these are some good numbers to have. And I gave you the flyers and the cards and different things like that. And some people might say, well, why would we ever call the police? I hope my daughter or my student or my son never has to have to call the police. Our students call us for everything. Everything. I've only been here 7 months, and I got in one morning and the security was walking around and she says, hey, Noah's looking for you. And I had to say, no. I got it, Noah. He was very distraught. Somebody stole his bike. What? Noah is the son of a fire chief. He is all things law enforcement. He is all things fire. He is all things safety. And he's so involved in everything. And he bikes from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. So when somebody says, somebody stole my car, it's like, okay, let's take a report. When Noah says somebody stole my bike, it's like, what? Somebody stole his bike? And so he was looking for me because somebody stole his bike. So what we did was, I'm going through the police department and I said, hey, we need to get Noah a bike. And they're like, what? Somebody stole Noah a bike. They're like, wait, what? I'm going to buy him a bike. We got to get him a bike. We need to get him a bike. And so that's what we did. We got him a bike. And he was so happy, he was so grateful that he was able to get back and forth. That is the type of relationship that we want to have with our students. Not to think just, oh my goodness, 911, lock us up, we go to jail. No, we're resource. We're resource. Allow us to help you. And we do, I do recruit students a lot for assistance. Like PowerPoint presentations, it might take me an hour, it might take a student 15 minutes. So I look for that all the time. So this is our mission here. This is the end of the PowerPoint presentation. Are there any questions that I can answer for you, especially with Lieutenant Perkins being here for 20 years?
So that last slide where you're talking about signing up, I tried to go in, that bottom one, is that a website or?
That's the Bear website.
Sign up.
The Bear website? Is that correct?
You can go into, if you go to the police department website, it should lead you right to it, or you should be able to type in, Bear Web, and then website, and it should lead you to it. But it's easier to do it on the police side, because everyone has a problem doing it through the other way. So it's not.
The police website?
The Baylor Police?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir. If you go on the Baylor's website, then you're going to the Baylor Police
Perfect,
Department.
thank you.
And some of the things that I definitely like to let students and parents know, if you get an alert, it has been my experience, the first thing people will say, oh my God, what's happening at Baylor? It might be right over there. It's not Baylor, but because it's in the area, you still get that alert. Yes. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I have a student who will be at City Side over here on the other side of the interstate. Anything extra or advice for freshmen who will be in that location, just a little bit off campus?
Where
So-
at?
City side.
City Side.
How far, I mean.
It's the hotel that becomes a dorm on the
Okay,
other
so,
side.
Oh,
okay, so
Springfield.
that's gonna be our coverage area, so our contact will be the same as it was if he was living on campus.
Mhm.
That's what it would be.
And one of the things that I like to tell parents all the time, I talk about my children, 3 boys. I had 3 boys. I have girls, but we'll focus on the 3 boys. One boy was an athlete. You always found him in any sporting event, anywhere. The second one I called Pretty Ricky. Wherever the girls were, cheer, whatever, that's where he wanted to be. And then the third one was, he's my problem kid, right? What is my problem? My problem kid can get in trouble at church, and he did, right? What are the odds that my problem child is going to be in trouble at college? Huge. And he did, you know? So talk to your children. Trust your parenting. If you have a good kid at home and they do the right thing most of the time, and they're a leader in their community, and they're just a really good kid, they're gonna be a good kid at college. I promise you. But if you have a troubled kid at home and you come home and say, I told you not to have these people in my house, they're probably gonna be the same thing happening here at college. So trust your parenting, talk to your student, get to know your police, have them get to know their police, and things will be fine. Especially freshmen, they won't know where to go. I'll be right along with them. So one day I just followed a bunch of kids somewhere until I found my way. That's okay. That's what college is all about. Our job at the Baylor Police Department is to make sure that they get from freshman, first day, to graduation. It is the best time of year for us to watch students walk across the stage who we knew wasn't gonna make it, and they prove us wrong every time, and we love it. So really trust your parenting. Pay attention. This is the normal stance for everybody, all the time. I don't understand it, day, night, 3 o'clock in the morning, right here. Pay attention. And for me, again, as the mom, as the grandma, I force them to pay attention. So if I come up on them, I'll just stop. If they run into me, oh my goodness, your police was turned off, you need to turn it back on. This is not paying attention. And we talk about that often. Any other questions?
Do y'all, are the officers, all of y'all that are looking out for our children, are y'all trained in exploitation?
Meaning,
Like
any bit,
trafficking, child exploitation, stuff like that, like through social media, so your eyes are aware of what to look for?
global security, international security, technical security. We have it. We have it. The biggest defense against something like that is communicating and talking to our students, right? So we don't want our students to get comfortable with somebody coming up to them and say, hey, how's it going? Can you help me in my car with this? Oh, hey, how's it going? I have this church service. Do you want to come here? And you get there and it's a house. And you just go in. Those types of things, you know? So really, talk to your student. These are the expectations. This is what we're expecting you to do. And if it doesn't look right, and we have this a lot, they don't want to bother the police with something like that. They don't. Please do. 365 days a week, 24 hours a day. Sometimes, believe it or not, at 3 o'clock in the morning, police are looking for something to do. So don't feel like you can't call the police when it doesn't look and feel right. We want you to call. Even if you're not going to call 911, you can call the non-emergency number and say, hey, can you just check this out? You know, it makes a world of difference. It makes a world of difference.
Are there any safety courses for the students? I mean, this is an area I work in nonprofit for, doing awareness against child sex trafficking. And so this one is pretty trained, but is there something y'all provide that trains our students, some kind of self-defense?
So as of right now, today, no. However, One of my certifications is I am certified in women's self-defense. I'm certified in riot training. Again, the certifications that I hold coming from Illinois is the reason why I've been brought here. So I do want RAD. We will teach RAD here for our students. We do safety presentations for our students. And because I am certified, I don't necessarily need to wait for anybody to say, oh, let's have this big class, this and the other. If I get enough emails and say, hey, this is the type of training that we want, I'll set it up and we'll make it happen. That's my sole job here on campus. And I think that that's very important. I also am certified as an ALICE instructor here in Texas. It's ALERT, which is active shooter training. I'm also certified as an ALICE instructor. As people want the training, it isn't anything that's forced, it isn't anything that's mandatory, but some people say, no, yeah, I want that training. I've had international students where I used to work at, I used to do their orientation separately because the women decided after, we want to take this training, but they couldn't necessarily say it in front of the men, and they would take training.
So do I need to get a bunch of moms together and they all email you so you can teach them how to whoop up on somebody?
Literally, if you just email me, get some names and say, this is what we want to do. You're like the third person that's asked that.
That was my question.
We can definitely make it happen. Just even at their residence, 12 of them get together and say, hey, we want to learn more about safety. We want to learn how to protect ourselves. The first thing I tell people to use is their voice, you know, and then there's several other things after that. It doesn't have to be full-on 2-day RAD training, but that is a good training course that I would definitely be looking to implement here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I came in late, so can I get your name first?
Yes, my name is Shonda Wilson. I'm going to give you a card.
And then if we want to do this training, can we come to you anytime you do it?
Yes. What happens is typically with the women's self-defense training, there has to be enough participants for me to create a class, right? And so once I get enough interest generated, then definitely we can put something together and have a class. So if you're interested, definitely you have my card, my email address, email me and say, hey, once you start putting together your self-defense courses for women, I would like to be a part of it, and then you'll be the first people that I contact to create a class.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have any other questions for me?